Hey everyone, it is good to see you. It is January the 21st, and we get to hear from a different person today. Bildad the Shuhite is responding to Job, and boy, does he come out of the gate with some words that just would flatten anybody. How long will you go on like this? You sound like a blustering wind. Does God twist justice? Does the Almighty twist what is right? I just want to go, no, but you sure do twist a lot of words around, right? And he's right out of the gate doing that. Then we have Job's responses to Bildad in today's reading. And then Job then pleads and speaks out to God. And then we hear Zophar's response to Job. So we've got advice coming in, then we've got Job's words, and then we've got more advice coming out. And so what do we do with all of this? I called this handling friendly fire. The lesson today, handling friendly fire, because we have to remember that these men, they do love Job. They have a relationship with him because they sat with him for a week without saying a word. So I call it friendly because sometimes friends have to say hard things to one another. Sometimes people that we don't know say hard things to us, that we don't really have a relationship with us, and they, for whatever reason, I think from yesterday's reading, there was one verse that just like, it was 5:8. If I were you, what do we do with if I were yous? How do we handle this friendly fire, this rapid fire, these helpful, quote unquote, helpful confrontations? I have to really step back too and look at the fact that these are men. They're not women. I don't know if that's occurred to you or not, but when you're reading these quick cuts and these retorts and these back and forths, they sound harsh and sharp because they're men and they're not going to talk like women. They're not going to say, I've had a similar situation like that. Or, I am so sorry that you're facing this. Maybe this has happened. The tone is completely different with women. It just occurred to me as I was studying this lesson that these are men. They're not going to have flowery conversation. They're probably going to have, and not grace-filled conversations either. They're just going to call it out what it is and what they think. And they're just going to put out their opinion out there. Unfiltered, unwanted, graceless challenges to Job's problems. And sometimes we have unfiltered, unwanted, graceless challenges to our situations. All in the name of helpful confrontations or helpful conversations, however you want to look. They're confrontational conversations. Maybe let's put it like that. When somebody comes up to you and says, if I were you, and I remember, girls, in my younger days, and when I say younger days, I know that there are people in the class that are older than me that are looking at me going, you are still in your younger days. But I'm 51. And so in my younger days, I remember thinking I knew so much. In fact, it's hilarious to watch my son, not as much my daughter. My daughter has always been kind of like cut from a different cord, from a different cloth, just cut from a different cloth from my son, completely different. If we said it, she listened, she obeyed. She's just one of those kids. And with my son, it was just always an uphill battle. And it still is. He's 18 and out working and doing his thing. But what I've seen with him is the older that he gets, the smarter I get. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but when he was really young, we just were dumb. We were out of date, out of touch, and out of our minds when we told him things to do or not to do, or give him wise advice. But the older he gets, the smarter I get. But I remember being young like that, and even being young in my faith, thinking I knew so much. And I remember saying things to people that I look back at now and go, I can't believe that person has ever spoken to me again. Because I sounded a lot like, to me, a windbag. I sounded a lot like Eliphaz and Zophar and Bildad, and judgment of people. And if I were you, this is what I would do. And as I've grown and I've matured in age and in experience and in my faith, I've learned really to listen more and talk less. And to listen to actually hear rather than to listen to respond. And that has proven, honestly, it has proven to others that are shown others. I don't want to say proven. It has shown others that I have wisdom. Because I began praying many years ago that God, make me a wise person. A wise woman of your word is really what I wanted to be. And I learned to talk less, to listen to hear, not to respond. And so I listen, and I don't respond, and I don't give advice unless someone asks. I might be burning inside. I mean, maybe y'all are like me, and you're going, I get it. I mean, I'm burning inside with something. Oh, I just know how you can fix this. And I want to tell them so bad. But I have learned that restraint to go, you know what? I've got something in my mind. The Lord has put something in my mind as we're talking that I would love to share with you if you are in a place where you could hear it. If not, maybe we could talk about it another time. Or if you don't want me to share anything, that's fine. I'm just going to pray about it. Now, there are some friends that I'm really close to that I can go, girl, you got to back away from that. Or girl, you don't need to be messing with that. There are friends that I can do that with. But even with those really close girlfriends, I really do. I want their permission first. But sometimes we don't get their permission. And then sometimes somebody comes to us and doesn't ask our permission. And we get the unfiltered and the unwanted grace-filled challenge to our situation. So what do we do with that? What do we do with that person that's just coming and just giving us counsel and advice when we don't want it? Here's ways that I handle that. I look at the motive of the person. Does this person love me? Does this person want what's best for me? Has this person been in my life long enough to be able to speak to me in that manner? And do they want my well-being? Do they have my well-being at heart? And if they do, I'm going to tune in a little bit more closely. But here's a little flip side to that is sometimes that person doesn't know me. That person has not earned the right to speak into my life. That person is not kind. But yet God still wants to use them. So we want to look at their motive, but we also want to say, you know what, God? Maybe this, and that leads into the next thing, maybe this is something that I need to listen to. God, is there any truth? This person hasn't earned the right. They don't have a good motive towards me. But is what they're saying true? Is there any truth to it? Examine my heart. Psalm 139, 23 and 24, or either 24 and 25. It says, examine my heart. Lord, examine my heart. And if this may not have come in the way that I wanted it to come, But if it's something you want me to hear and something you want me to know, let me know. And then thirdly, it's kind of twofold. We have to let the Spirit do its work. We have to let the Spirit, number one, show us what needs to be changed and allow Him to do that in our lives and give Him space to do it, give Him room to do it, to have His way and to work His way and His will and submit to that. But then the second fold goes back to that second step. If that is not true, if God has said there is absolutely no truth in that, that was unwarranted and unwelcomed, let that go. You need to let the Holy Spirit do its work in your heart to let it go. I mean, you may see somebody on occasion, like at a family reunion, let's just throw that out there, that has all kinds of opinions about your life. And for once a year, you have to sit and listen to that conversation with that person. Lord, help me walk away from this person and not carry this conversation with me. You dearly love me. There is no truth in this. This person is judgmental. He's hurtful. He does not have my, or she does not have my best interest at heart. Help me walk away with this. Help me walk away from this without any ill feelings, because you don't want any animosity there, because we're supposed to live at peace as best as we can. Help me. So handling these helpful what did I even call them? Confrontational conversations is threefold. And when we learn to handle these wisely, wow, our life will definitely be more at peace during troubled times. We'll see you tomorrow on Read Through the Word.